She banged on my cabin door so hard I thought it might come off the hinges. "Open up, this cabin is mine for the weekend," she shouted, her voice sharp and shaking with rage. I opened the door just enough to look at her. She stood there, hands on her hips, sunglasses reflecting the morning sun, like she owned the entire forest. "This is my property," I said calmly. "You're trespassing." She laughed, an ugly, mocking laugh. "Not anymore. The HOA says I can use it whenever I want, and I want it now." The thing was, this cabin wasn't even part of her HOA. I'd built it myself, years ago, on land that had been in my family for 3 generations, but she didn't care. She waved a paper in my face, looked like a printed HOA order, complete with a fake stamp. "You either pack up," she sneered, "or I'll have the police throw you out." I leaned against the doorframe, studying her. There was no way she had the law on her side. But her confidence made me curious about what she was planning. Before I could ask, she pulled out her phone and dialed. "Yes, officer," she said loudly, staring at me with a smug grin. "There's an armed man trespassing in my cabin. I need backup immediately." Armed? My hands were in my pockets, nowhere near a weapon. I didn't move, didn't argue. Because what she didn't know was I had my own call to make, and the people I'd be calling weren't just backup. I stepped back inside, letting her keep shouting into her phone on the porch. Through the thin wood walls, I could hear her describing me like I was some fugitive on the run, dangerous, unstable, and probably on drugs. She had no idea I was recording every word. The little camera above my door, hidden under the awning, caught her face, her fake HOA letter, and her whole performance. I walked to my desk, picked up my own phone, and made a quick call. "Hey, Mark." "It's me," I said quietly. "You remember that favor you owed me?" The man on the other end chuckled. "Yeah, the one from when I got you out of that mess in Afghanistan?" "That's the one," I said. "Well, it's time to cash it in." By the time I hung up, I heard tires crunching on the gravel driveway outside. She had moved down to the edge of my porch, pacing with her phone pressed to her ear. "They're on their way," she said, smirking at me through the screen door. "Hope you like jail food." I smiled back. "I'll take my chances." Then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw a black SUV roll up behind her. The door opened and 2 men stepped out. Not cops, not even close. Her smug grin froze when she saw the patches on their jackets. She had no idea who she'd just called the police on, and even less idea who had just arrived for me. Her voice cracked as she pointed at them. "Who are you?" "You can't be here." "This is HOA business." One of the men, broad shoulders, clean cut, eyes like steel, walked right past her without a word and came up my steps. "Sir," he said to me with a small nod, "we got your message. Everything's under control." Karen blinked. "Sir? Why are you calling him sir?" The second man, taller and just as serious, turned toward her. "Ma'am, you're trespassing on federal property." Her jaw dropped. "Federal? No, this is my community's cabin." "The HOA..." "Ma'am," he cut her off. "This cabin belongs to a decorated combat veteran, and right now you are committing a criminal offense, so I suggest you step away from the door." For the first time, she looked nervous, but she still clung to her paper like it was a magic shield. "You can't threaten me. I have rights." The tall man smiled coldly. "And so does he. More than you can imagine." Before she could fire back, the sound of sirens drifted up the mountain road. Her confidence returned instantly. "That's the real police." "Now you're in trouble," she hissed at me. I glanced at the SUV, then at the men standing beside me. "Oh," I said, keeping my voice calm. "You're about to find out who's really in trouble." 2 patrol cars pulled up in a cloud of dust, lights flashing. Karen straightened her posture like a queen welcoming her soldiers. "Officers," she shouted, running toward them. "Arrest that man. He's armed and dangerous. He stole my cabin." The 2 deputies stepped out, hands resting on their holsters, but their eyes didn't move to me. They went straight to the men in black standing beside my porch. "Captain," one deputy said, nodding respectfully. Karen froze. "Captain?" No, he's the trespasser." The taller man beside me stepped forward. "Officers, I'm glad you're here. We have a civilian making false reports, trespassing, and impersonating an HOA authority on private land." One deputy pulled out his notepad. "We'll need statements." "I've got better than statements," I said, reaching into my pocket. I handed over my phone, already cued to the security footage. Clear audio, clear video, Karen's threats, her fake letter, her call claiming I was armed. The deputy's expression shifted from neutral to stone cold. He looked at her. "Ma'am, is this you?" Her eyes darted from the phone to me, then to the officers. "That's taken out of context." "He's dangerous." "That's enough," the deputy said. "Turn around, hands behind your back." "What? No." "You can't." The click of handcuffs cut off her protest. She twisted in their grip, still shouting my name like it was a curse. I just stood on my porch, arms crossed, watching her world crumble. Because she still didn't know the biggest twist yet. The one that would make sure she never tried. This again. As they walked her toward the patrol car, she kept turning her head to scream, "You'll regret this. The HOA will have your land by next month." I let her rant. She had no clue that her threats were already dead in the water. The taller man in black stepped closer to me. "You want to tell her, or should I?" I smirked. "I think it'll hit harder coming from you." He turned to face her. "Ma'am, this cabin and the surrounding acreage are not just private property. They're registered under a federal veterans land grant, protected by military easement. That means," he let the silence hang for a moment, "you couldn't take it if you were the president herself." She blinked, mouth opening and closing like she'd just been punched without warning. That's not possible." "Oh, it's possible," I said, stepping down from the porch. "And I have the deeds, the easement papers, and about 15 witnesses who'd love to explain it to a judge." One of the deputies opened the back door of the patrol car. She hesitated at the edge, eyes darting around like she might still escape this. "That fake HOA order," I added. "Yeah, that's also evidence of fraud. And impersonating law enforcement, since you claimed to have authority to evict me." The deputy gave her a little push and she slid into the seat, still muttering under her breath. But her voice was quieter now, shaky. I leaned in just enough so she could hear me. "You picked the wrong weekend. And the wrong man." The door shut with a heavy thud. What she didn't know was that her arrest was just step one. The real payback was already in motion. The patrol cars rolled down the gravel road, their lights fading between the trees. The mountain grew quiet again, except for the low hum of the black SUV still idling by my porch. Mark, the broad-shouldered one, gave me a grin. "So, how far do you want to take this?" I didn't even have to think. "All the way. I want her HOA to feel this." He nodded, pulled out a tablet, and started typing. "We can run a full audit on their operations. If they've pulled this stunt on you, they've probably done it to others." I watched as he pulled up satellite images of the entire subdivision, cross-referencing property lines with legal boundaries. Within minutes, red flags popped up all over the map, HOA signs placed outside their jurisdiction, fees collected from people whose homes weren't even on their books, even a few properties they'd seized illegally. "Bingo," Mark said. "They're wide open for a federal investigation." I leaned against the porch rail, a slow smile forming. "You think the residents will talk?" "Oh, they'll talk," he replied. "Especially when they find out their HOA's president just got arrested for trespassing on federal land." The plan was simple. Expose the corruption publicly, dismantle their fake authority, and make sure Karen's name was attached to every headline. As Mark made a few quiet calls, I pictured her sitting in a holding cell right now, still convinced this was just a misunderstanding. She had no idea that by morning, her entire HOA empire would be in flames, and I'd be the one holding the match. By sunrise, the storm had already started. Mark's contacts worked fast, faster than I expected. A local news van was parked at the entrance to the subdivision, camera crew setting up while a reporter practiced her lines. I could almost hear the panic spreading inside. Those neat little houses as neighbors peeked through blinds,